national champions after defeating Dan Hurley's UConn Huskies 69-63. Today marks the first day of voluntary workouts in the NFL as Dolphins running back Devon Achane is not present for offseason workouts. Top draft prospect Fernando Mendoza does not plan on attending the NFL draft. Mendoza is coming off a national championship winning season with the Indiana Hoosiers. And last night on the ice, the Nashville Predators lost in a shootout to the LA Kings. With the loss, the Preds get 1 point in the wildcard standings, but not enough to stay in the second wildcard spot for the time being. The Kings overtake the Preds with 83 points. According to MoneyPuck.com, the Preds have a 41% chance to make the playoffs with the win tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. You can hear pregame coverage beginning at 8 with Puck Drop to follow at 9 right here on 102.5 The Game on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
For more, log on to thegamenashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, how would we describe this? Let's go with beautiful Tuesday where the temperature is 67 degrees and it's really pleasant outside. If you get the chance to be outside, hope you enjoy it because it's beautiful. Let's start off. We got a lot of news to get to pretty quickly. Let's start in Murfreesboro with Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, how are you?
I'm great, George. How you doing?
Good. I'm going to steal a little bit of Parker's update here because he may not have everything I've got. The Predators, within the last few minutes, have announced a new multi-year partnership between the Preds and Scripps Sports, making Scripps the official television home of the Preds in 26-27. Scripps is the owner of News Channel 5 in Nashville, which is a lot of you who have Comcast know they've gotten in a pissing contest once again, and so now we're not getting Channel 5. But apparently this will transform something called WNPX Channel 28 into the Spot Nashville 28 this summer. This station will become the home of the Preds, delivering every non-national Preds game over the air. Now, Kelly, let me go back to something that I have been all over for a good while now. There was a bankruptcy judge named Christopher Lopez in the Southern District of Texas, down in Houston, who oversaw the Chapter 11 reorganization of Diamond Sports Group, the parent company of this pile of crap, FanDuel Sports Network. Now, let me say this. Major League Baseball repeatedly told this judge, don't buy this load of crap. They're feeding you. This thing will go away with a good gust of wind. But this judge, and this is, in my opinion, an absolute farce, what went on here to allow FanDuel to ever get back in this game. This guy, the judge, Christopher Lopez, he really did a disservice to a ton of major league teams, some hockey teams. This was a disgrace. It really was. Because
it's fair to say,
holding that.
George, it's fair to say you're not very high on FanDuel.
No. Now, look, FanDuel is basically a name that this company, Diamond Sports Group, sold naming rights to. Okay?
Yeah.
Just like before that, it was Bally Sports.
Right.
Last I knew, Bally's was a casino. But my point to all this is this. You're watching all of these teams having to scramble around because this judge didn't do his job. You can call it what you want, but MLB repeatedly warned this guy. This FanDuel thing, a good gust of wind will blow it over. And 9 months later, they're declaring a second bankruptcy. Now, for me, this Braves vision is way better coverage than what we were getting. Hoping the same thing happens with the Preds, but I'm asking myself the question, why was this judge doing what he did? I don't get it.
Well, it's we've learned in the last years, I don't know how many years, but judges have a lot of power, man. And it's kind of crazy because sometimes you think they're going to go a certain way and then they're, it just, I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. And sometimes you just shake your head and you wonder, like, where in the world did you make that decision from? Like, where does that come from?
Here is toward the end of this thing, despite objections from Major League Baseball and the U.S. trustee, Judge Lopez approved the deal, citing the preservation of jobs and the viability of the restructuring plan, to which I say, this is one of these deals where our judicial system failed and failed miserably. Thank you.
I think we're seeing more and more of that, George. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, Parker, the rest of it's yours.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much. And it's good to see that you're in a good mood today, George, to match the weather outside.
I'm in a good mood, but this is one that has pissed me off for a while because it didn't have to be this way.
Fair
I
enough.
have no idea. Look, I have no idea what the Predator deal means. I wasn't aware there's a Channel 28. I hope it works. God only knows.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines. They won their first national title since 1989, first for the Big Ten since 2000, as they defeated UConn last night 69-63. They're the first team ever to win a national title with all starting five that came from the transfer portal, and it was the second worst three-point shooting percentage combined, 22.9%. The second worst three-point shooting percentage since the national title in 2011 when UConn beat Butler. Those teams shot a combined 22.7%.
Kelly, at no point in the second half did I think UConn could win. When I saw the difficulty that Reed was having scoring, I said to myself, your pick may not be the right one.
I know that we are, probably going to talk about this quite a bit with Mark Griffin and all that, but I got to ask y'all, what were the thoughts on the reffing last night? Did you like it? You get some ticky tack, and then some of them get just knocked down. There was no consistency. And here's the deal, I was talking to one of my friends, which is a former coach of mine today, and we all like to say that refs don't determine the outcome of a game, but that's a bunch of bullcrap because refs can determine the outcome of a game, and they got UConn in foul trouble early. Those guards were done, like when you go sit out 20 minutes, when you sit out 10 minutes and you have to come back into a game and then you have to change your game and then you can't be as aggressive. And I think that's what happened to Terry Reed too. I believe that he got into foul trouble and it took his aggressiveness away. I really do.
Kelly, I think the thing that we're lacking right now in the officiating world, it's a hard job. Nobody in their right mind wants it. But officials, when they meet with the captains before the game, have got to look them in the eye and say, listen, this is not going to be a sumo wrestling contest. And you better pass this on to your team. I used to see it in my younger years as a broadcaster where the John Clockertys of the world would sense trouble and stop a game and say, look, from here on in, there's not going to be all this grabbing and clutching. And you don't see officials do that anymore. And it is badly needed because at times last night, it bordered on sumo wrestling.
Yeah, and then it borders on sumo wrestling with big guys, but then you're gonna call ticky tack stuff on guard. Like I just don't understand where it was, and that had a huge effect. I'm not saying UConn, like Michigan was the better team all year, and UConn has more depth. But like if you're Dan Hurley and you get those guys, my two starting guards get kicked out of the game for, much of the first half, and then they have to change their game and they can't be aggressive. I just don't know. I just thought the referees got into it too much last night. You don't like seeing that. You want the referees to let them play and figure it out themselves. But there was no consistency to me whatsoever.
I think UConn emptied every barrel just to stay close.
They did, no doubt.
Dan Hurley knew that, okay, I can't let this game get into an upper 80s, 90s. Tommy Lloyd, he didn't have a clue. I mean, for all the brilliance of Tommy Lloyd, it was Dan Hurley that realized, man, if we get in an up and down contest with this group, we are screwed.
Can't do it. Right.
He said it at halftime. He's like, we're playing the only game that we can to have a chance of winning.
Because he watched Tommy Lloyd just throw the ball out there, and they got annihilated. Arizona did.
And they said, too, that when he went back to the hotel, this might have been in the pregame, that he watched all three of Michigan's losses, too, to just try to – this was like right before the game – to find any advantage that he could. I thought they played their hearts out. I really did.
The Michigan of last night, they could, if they played 100 times, Michigan wins that game 90 to 95 of them.
Oh, there's no doubt. Like, they're that much better than everybody else. It's like UConn a couple of years ago when they were just totally dominant. Like, nobody could beat them. Like, that's what I felt like Michigan last night. I felt they kept it close in the first half, and they kept it close because of the three-pointers. They were hitting shots in the first half. But in the second half, they went cold. The Caravan kid went cold. The Mullins kid went cold. Just wasn't going to happen.
So we do have some portal news specifically for Tennessee.
Now, hold on a second. When you say we have portal news, our show ends at 5. Thank you.
Tennessee has lost J.P. Estrella, Jalen Carey, Cade Phillips, now Amari Evans, couple of bench guards, and Bishop Boswell. They have one returning guy, Dwayne Brown, who had a great freshman year last year. They're bringing in Tyler Lundblade, but they've lost 7 guys, and they have one returning starter. You flip over to the Lady Vols side of things, Olivia Edwards, who's this 5-star recruit that was coming in, the number 2 overall recruit according to ESPN, she's been released from her national letter of intent, and they only have one player on the roster.
They will not be fielding a team this year. I'm going to –
Lord, dude.
Wow.
Like, when is that going to happen in a lower, like an FCS Division II? Like, when is that going to start happening where they're not going to be able to field a team? At some point, that's probably going to happen.
Well, it'll be money first, and then we'll say, oh, by the way, we have no one on our roster. We're tapped out.
I imagine that'll go over really well with the fan base.
We called Plaster. Hell, he's in his 60s. That's not going to work.
The Nashville Predators fell in a shootout last night, 3-2 to the Kings. It seems like the Kings only play in overtime or shootouts. They're 1 point out of the final wild card spot with 82. Is that right? 82 points?
Yeah.
And they have Anaheim tonight.
Look, this team is fighting its butt off. We'll show you during the 4 o'clock hour the scheduling comparison of the Preds and the LA Kings. It's not even close. The Preds, if the Preds make it, man, they will have earned it. They've done a hell of a job on this road trip. You're not hearing any complaining from me. I love their effort.
So they got 1 point yesterday, right, George?
Yeah, I love their effort. Go Preds.
There we go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they need, George. Maybe they need this tough stretch to get them like focused, like really, really focused.
Oh, they're listen. The last 3 nights, there's nothing wrong with what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they're going to get in But, man, my hat's off to them right now.
They're playing all playoff teams.
They're playing tough.
On this road stretch. So the Titans begin their offseason program today. They have some players that are returning. So things will get geared up here as we two weeks away from the draft. I thought this was funny. The Memphis Grizzlies matched a single-game NBA record last night. They hit 29 three-pointers, and yet they still lost. They lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers 142 to 126.
I think they trade Ja Morant in the offseason. They're not anywhere close to being a contender.
Didn't they already trade Jaren Jackson, and they traded somebody else too a while ago?
It's not working.
How does that happen with Ja Morant though? What an unbelievably talented guy, and he falls into the category of can't get right.
Well, it'll probably feel a little like the Trae Young trade from Atlanta to Washington.
You think?
Before it's over, I don't think they got any choice.
Yeah.
Later today on after our show, actually, the Vandy boys are going to take on Eastern Kentucky at 6. The pregame will start at 5:45. Tennessee is going to take on North Kentucky at 5 after a very disappointing loss to LSU over the weekend. And the Sounds will be taking on the Gwinnett Stripers, the AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. George, when the Sounds play the Stripers, who do you root for in that?
I root for players. First of all, it's down in Georgia, down in Gwinnett, this series. I want to see certain pitchers, players. I could care less about who's winning and losing.
Okay. That's
it's about development.
That ain't true with the big team.
No, that's a different.
We are done.
It's much different.
We're done.
It's a different animal.
After the break, Tony Basilio will join us from Knoxville. We will ask the question, do the women intend to field a team next year? This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank & Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank & Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Don't mind me, I'm just talking Tennessee. Girl, don't blame me if I slip and call you baby. That's just my way of letting the lady know.
Okay, we are back on this Tuesday. It doesn't look like Tony joined us yet, so we'll stall around for just a second. Did any of us see One Shining Moment?
Oh yeah,
I did not, George. I was singing it, and then I just forgot about it because I was like so disgusted at the reffing last night.
Are you kidding me? You didn't stay up for One Shining Moment?
I was up. I didn't watch it. No, I've seen it. I've seen it a bunch, Parker. I'm sorry.
I'll admit, I didn't see it. I flipped to the Preds game.
Are you kidding me,
George didn't see
I'm
it.
allowed to do that.
That's right. We're all allowed to do it.
This involves a Nashville team.
It's One Shining Moment.
Well, it wasn't all that shining for UConn.
No,
I got one shining moment for you, Parker.
What was was it well done?
It was well done.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
So it was a good thing that that True TV had the telecast last night because we're under some Comcast Channel 5 pissing contest, and we're not getting Channel 5.
I know. I didn't think about that last night. I didn't even realize that till the other day. George, my brother-in-law, was over here, and he was talking to you. He's like, "Yeah, Channel 5's gone," and he said it's kind of like that Comcast deal a couple of years ago. And I'm like, "Really?" And I didn't even think about like it's not even on these. I'm glad it's on TNT and True TV and TBS because if not, we wouldn't have seen the game last night.
So, does CBS still have the Masters?
They do.
They do.
They do.
That'll go over well in the golf community this weekend.
Oh, wow. I have not even thought about that either, George. You're killing me.
Mm.
Oh, gosh. Yes. That's crazy.
So, I see Tony Basilio ready and raring to go from his man cave in Knoxville. Tony, how are you?
If I'm not in my studio, George, great to talk to you. How you guys doing?
Good. Same here.
Good to visit.
So I'm going to ask one NCAA tournament question, then we'll get to some of what's going on at Tennessee. Where would you rank Michigan in recent years as far as champions and where this group stacks maybe compared to some recent ones?
Seeing them up close and personal as Tennessee did, you weren't beating them. It was a great job last night by Danny Hurley and those guys just to slow them down, play for possession. It was excellent coaching by them. Just to have that thing where you have a puncher's chance at the end of the game, you can't ask for more than what they did. Nobody was beating that team, George. They went out and built a roster in the offseason. They built a super team. Other teams are trying to emulate it right now with the size and the basketball team that can play. Whether you want to mix it up and be physical or you want us to shoot the three ball over you and run and gun on you, no matter what you want us to do, they can do it. That's a pretty freaking good team, George.
You and I are on the same wavelength that Hurley emptied every barrel.
Yep.
Just to keep it close.
Yep. I respect it, man. I respect that great coaching job by him. He's kind of a nut. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you have to be certifiable to be a basketball coach at UConn. But whatever the point, they're pretty darn good, George. And he and Crazy Gino up there.
Tony, you have a credibility when you come on this show that people really have a trust in your opinions and what you say.
Oh boy,
and what you feel. So here goes. Let's start with the Tennessee men. A bunch of people leaving.
Yeah.
Is this Barnes telling them, look, we got to do better than your level, so find a new home? What is going on?
No, a few of those guys they would have kept, George, but the issue is Tennessee's got twice as much money than they had last year in the portal. And a guy like Cade Phillips said, well, I can get $2 million. My agent tells me I can get $2 million. Rick Barnes looked at him and said, go ahead, my son, bless you. A guy like JP Estrella, who can't stay healthy here. I mean, and he's been a fine player when he's healthy. But for the most part, he's held together by baling wire and duct tape, is telling them that he can get $3 million. I mean, look, go get $3 million. Here's the problem, and Kelly knows this, and these kids find this out annually, but these agents always paint rosier pictures for them than are out there. Or, then again, like my wife proved 35 years ago, it only takes one to fall in love, and now look at me and look at her. But, it only takes one to fall in love, 3 years late. When you look at these, maybe somebody will give Phillips $3 million. Maybe somebody will give Estrella or Phillips $2 million, Estrella $3 million. Here's the deal, George. There were guys on the team that they, like the Carey kid. I mean, take it or leave it. Bishop Oswell, take it or leave it. Here's the thing. Just because guys get in the portal doesn't mean they don't come back. We've seen that here, there, and everywhere, except for Kim Caldwell's kids. You never say never, but when it comes to that train wreck, I mean, that's a natural disaster, what that lady's done to women's basketball, into that Lady Vol brand. Just Danny White has done something Dave Hart wanted to destroy the Lady Vols when he was the AD. Danny White's done it.
We'll get to that here in a minute.
All right.
I'll go back to something you said, which is Rick Barnes has double the resources to use.
Yeah.
It's easier to find out with public school, but your gut feeling, where's he getting that kind of cash to just go on a free agent spending spree?
Rick Barnes knows how to work them, boys. He's a master politician. And he knows the money, people. And let me tell you something. If you're doing your job in football and basketball on one of these campuses, you know the billionaires and the several hundred millionaires that are interested in giving. And you make them feel invited, and you keep them engaged in what you're doing, and you talk to them frequently, and you know where your bread is buttered. And if you're not one of those coaches today that wants to swim in those waters and get to know those people, you ought not be in major college basketball today, or major college football for that matter, because these are the people that are the engine in your deal. Look, a minor component. Fans think it's the rev share NIL that you get as part of the house settlement. That is a drop in the bucket compared to what fuels these programs now. A literal drop in the bucket, George.
A lot was made a year ago. Kentucky had a $22 million roster.
Yep.
What are we talking about at Tennessee? Is it 15 million? What is it? Or
Well,
what's
they're
it
going to
be? I guess
they're going to be double where they were last year, and last year they spent about $8.5 to $9 million.
Wow, impressive.
And here's the thought. Here's the thought here. The reason there's such hunger is that the win total for the football team is 6.5 right now in Vegas. So a good year for the football team is 9-3. This baseball team, no offense to them, but they're not exactly lighting the world on fire. But Kim Caldwell, she's lit her program on fire. So those are your four programs that people truly, really go for and care about in our fan base. And the truth is, one of them, as we head into next season, one of them, I think people have real hope in. Now, I'm not going to throw the baseball team out with the bathwater just yet. It's way too early. This season, probably the ship is sailing on them, but there's a lot of young talent and talent that'll be coming in. But it doesn't take a lot to fund that anyway. And so Tennessee understands they've got to be great at something next year. The one thing they had on this year was the basketball program that gave us all a long run. The goal right now here, George, first time I've ever said this in my life, The goal here right now is to win it all next year in college basketball. That's what they're setting out to do. They're setting out, George, the guys they're involved with, to build literally like a Michigan-type super team here next year. That's the goal.
So jokingly earlier, I put it out there that the Lady Vols will not field a team next
Right.
year.
Yeah.
But here's what I do want to know. Okay, you and I both believe that the Danny White style, it works when you're 11-1 and your basketball goes Elite Eight, and God forbid some of this slips. How much crap is he catching?
Well, he insulates himself. So unless he gets on Twitter, he's not going to hear it. Danny has what he calls lieutenants. Danny thinks he's in the military. He's not. Danny has what he calls lieutenants that interface with the coaches. And at his press conference when Tony Vitello, after he left, he was asked about his relationship with Tony, and he said, it's just not my style. And then somebody asked him about Josh Elander, his follow-up. Well, he said, well, I've never really talked to him. It's an athletic director. You never talked to one of his coaches. I mean, that's how this guy manages. It's just, he is bizarre. Here's the thing. A wise man once said, George, a long time ago, I don't know who said this, but it's one thing to be wrong, but don't stay wrong. And somebody never told Danny that. And Danny has not surrounded himself with strong enough people that will say to him, hey, Danny, this isn't working. This isn't going to work. This is never going to work. That is never going to happen. And you need to let this coach go. You need to admit a quick mistake. He's just not going to do it.
So I knew when we started down this road that you would just flat out shoot me straight, and you have. Kelly, I turn it to you for whatever level of follow-up, but I love the fact that he's just tossed it out there and said, this is what it is.
I just, I'm sitting here thinking, because I asked you this question a couple of years ago when Hendon Hooker was there. UT got to the number one place in college football for a week or two, and they had that successful season. You had Tony Vitello, who had the baseball team. Then he won a national championship. Rick Barnes, the women's basketball. I even said like it was the golden age of UT sports, and you said you're absolutely right. Like, how in the world has this gone so bad so fast, Tony?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but it is where we are. And look, it's not like Tennessee's going to stink in football or anything, but when you have young kids in this league, it's just unforgiving. Yeah. And I'll tell you something, in spring practice, neither guy's been good. George has not had a good spring. And the other kid is just a kid. He's just trying to learn the terminology and what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And they're going to be a work in progress on defense as well. They're going to be good enough to beat probably more than half the teams on their schedule, but I'm not sure how much more than that they're going to be. And the thing about Danny White is he's always saying more and more and more, and he never says thank you. And people like that, man, when it falls on them, it falls. It falls on people like him. People that, think they're too big to return a call, people that think they're too big to interface with fans. It falls on people like him.
So I brought it up last week, man, and I'm just it's so crazy how this women's basketball thing is going. Kim Caldwell, is he going to be forced? Because she has does she have anybody on her roster? I think one child, one girl. I don't know.
There was Kelly, there was one player yesterday left over from last year's team, and she went into the portal. So now they have one signee. We're referring to her as the Lady Vol. Now, in the thing that you cannot make up if you tried, her last name is minus, as in subtract, as in 10 minus 1 equals what? 10, or how about 10 minus 9 equals 1? They got one player left. I don't know how many went into the portal. but she's an incoming freshman. The real hotshot incoming freshman, her mother was like, hey, love your school, love your colors, love that you were going to pay us a couple $1 million. Unfortunately, your money doesn't spend, and it's great that Adidas was going to do this, and they're your new partner, but we're not doing this, nor should they. This Kim Caldwell lady, the stuff I've heard coming out of her program, guys, I've been here for, let me think, well, long enough to know better. 32 years on the air every day. I didn't think some of this stuff was possible. I mean, I didn't think some of it was possible.
So I know you've already said a little bit about JP Estrella, and I brought this up yesterday, and George wanted me to save it, but and you kind of gave the answer already. But like you got JP Estrella, who's been a little injury prone, and Bishop Boswell, who played a bunch this year. I thought JP Estrella got better, but
yeah,
is it strictly because of what they think or what they hear they're getting from other places, or is it because that, just like George brought up, Coach Barnes has got the money. They know they're going to spend it. They know they're going to bring people in, and they're going to make a run at this thing. Is that a little bit of what they're hearing?
It's all of it.
Outside of
it's the only thing. They're going for big roles. And here's the thing about big roles. One guy they're involved with is going to test the NBA waters. He's a late first-round pick. They're going to pay him more than they've ever paid any player here.
Ooh.
They get him. And they paid the kid last year $4 million. I mean, the cost of doing business in that sport, guys. Look, if you want to field a team in the SEC and you want to make the NCAA tournament, you can do that at like $8 or $9 million. You can do that. If you want to field a team and you want to win and you want to get out there in the Final Four and you want to do what Michigan just did, you better spend some money. Arizona spent some money. The other three of those Final Four teams spent a lot of money. UConn's got a homegrown player, and they spent on their roster, but they got pretty much a homegrown team, except for one guy. But, hey, you got to spend the money.
Got to spend it. So, talking about baseball, I guess I'm going around the world here, but the Josh Elander young man who took over the job, he's filling in for somebody who was really good, and we know that. But is it players or is it coaching? Or I mean, it's hard to make a determination in 1 year what the guy can do. What have you heard? What do you feel? What do you like about him? Or is it his roster's just not good enough?
I think he's a very good baseball guy. His pitchers just aren't performing out of that bullpen, and these guys have invented ways to lose. And like anything, when it's going bad on you, it turns into a dark comedy. Tennessee had a extra inning game the other day, guys, where they lost by 10 runs. That connotes that the game was tied at the end of regulation. How do you lose by 10 runs? I've never heard of that. They've blown multiple 4- and 5-run leads. The walk-off against Vanderbilt at the end of the at the end of that series was just Vanderbilt basically threw up the white flag in the middle of that game. Was trying to lose the game. They knew they were out of pitching, and they still couldn't. The Vols still couldn't win that game. At Georgia, they had a kid celebrating a home run that he thought was out of the park, and the kid pulls it back. And really, really, since that game, Tennessee's season hasn't been the same.
So let me ask you one more question. I'm gonna wrap it up with football. You said that the young men you don't feel have had good spring practices. What is the vibe? Like, is there panic in the building? Like, we should have gone out and got somebody? Or
well, you always think that. I mean, Kelly, you know that. You always think that.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of time between now and the season. You know, when I say on my show, hey, this is what we're hearing about football, with anything, I say two things. One, you're allowed to get better. Two, like we were talking with Parker last week, Tennessee fans were taking a clip that was on social media about a young wide receiver way. And here's the problem. When you don't give anybody access to what you're doing, and you show a few clips, people are going to take the few clips and look at them like they're the Zapruder film, and we're back in Dallas back in the day. So that said, you kind of asked for that.
Yeah.
But to make any judgment on anybody during spring ball, I mean, at this time of the year, Kelly, and especially in this transfer portal era where you got a bunch of guys that'll be coming in, here, there, and everywhere. Has spring football ever meant less? They don't hit anymore. It's not like it used to be. I mean, has it ever meant less?
Oh, gosh. I can remember getting tore up in spring ball, Tony.
I don't think we wore pads during spring ball my junior year.
I did. And I got tore up, too.
Yeah, they don't hit anymore.
Gosh.
I mean, they
That was
scrimmage, but the quarterbacks, green jerseys. Kelly, if it was in your world, you putting green jerseys on quarterbacks, or are you going after them, making them live?
Here's the deal. Like when I was a junior and senior, when I kind of established myself, I remember Coach Donnelly put a yellow jersey on me, and I got messed with so bad from the rest of the squad. But like,
my teammates,
it's gotten to the point though, Tony, when you bring money into this thing, like you got to watch your asset. I mean, like that's kind of what it is. I think that just like Coach Donnelly used to tell us, you need to get a little lick, son. You need to get some hits on you, and I believe that a little bit. You need to go through a little bit of that. Maybe not in the scrimmage, but like you got to have like a third down session where everything's live or something live. Because if a quarterback understands that I'm not getting hit, it gives you a false sense of security, even in spring ball, and that's what's happening nowadays.
Kirby Smart's brand is that he hits, that we hit all the time. We hit during the season. He can do that. He's got 1 million football players. And if one gets hurt, you got another one coming up. I mean, now,
right.
Inevitably that runs out on him too. If you do that enough, I don't know with a lot of these guys, because a lot of Georgia's depth players, as we go along in the portal era, leak out to other places because guys want to play. So, these guys are in a real conundrum. All the way around, football, basketball, baseball, how you manage your rosters. I was talking to somebody today, sort of an insider, doesn't think Tennessee has enough pitchers on the roster. They don't even have guys, because now that you have these shortened rosters, you can't stash a few young arms. You might take a guy that can throw it really hard and doesn't know where it's going. They don't have those guys like they had in years past.
Because Arvidsson and Rudy were both used quite a bit this weekend in relief, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. The thing is, when Arvidsson came in on Friday night and he walked the first batter, okay, that's one thing. Then he walked the second batter. Then he walks the third batter. I mean,
Rudy comes in and there's a grand slam.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to throw a first pitch grand slam. So
I'm going to bounce around all over the place. Did you see Holly Rowe's tweet yesterday before it was deleted? Did you guys see Holly Rowe's tweet? Jordan, Kelly?
No.
I'm going to read this. What Danny White is allowing to happen to Lady Vols hoops is making me so sad. Gut-wrenching to watch him let one of the greatest programs in women's sports history disintegrate. I am devastated. She then deleted that. So I guess where my confusion is, this is Danny White's hire. Danny White has a basketball background. Why exactly? I'm having trouble connecting the dots here.
Well, what I think is really interesting, and George knows, Holly Rowe's one of the sweetest people that's ever existed in the broadcasting business.
Yes.
For her to put that out, when her brand is like the sweetheart of sports, tells you everything you need to know about what's going on, because she's hearing some of the things I'm hearing. And when you hear enough of those things, look, I don't even care about women's basketball. I just don't. That's not night in and night out. That's not something I watch. It's just not. I'm just honest. But when this train wreck started, when she called her team out and I started getting wind of I watched every game. Oh yeah. I watched every game. And you know why? And I know Kelly's trying to behave right now, but game in and game out, it doesn't interest me. But that doesn't mean that it's not for somebody else. I'm not here to say, what you should or shouldn't watch. But when Holly Rowe is calling out Tennessee's athletic director, and George, she took it down later in the day. You want to know why she took it down? Why? What do you think, George, she took it down?
Under pressure from higher ups who received a phone call.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because you cannot, and that's who Danny White is. you cannot criticize Dr. Danny. But I got news for you. I criticize him. I'm not afraid. They know where I'm at. I'm not afraid. He's free to come on the show anytime he wants. We've invited him on. He's free to come on.
Dr.
I got a lot of questions for the doctor.
Yes.
If he does, can you tell us so we can watch it?
Lieutenant Danny White. That's what you meant to
When
say.
you get him on, let me know.
No, he's the doctor. He has lieutenants. Do what, George?
When you get him on, let me know. We'll run it.
Please. I want
George, all I'm worried about, George, right now is our two hockey teams. And I see you're showing your gold. Now, is your gold that you're showing right now, is that Predators gold or is that Vandy gold? I want to see.
George.
You better believe that. You better believe, because I had to be sure. What gold you were showing there.
I am fired up about the way they've responded on this road trip.
Are you kidding me? They've shown the courage of a lion. The Predators are coming for whoever they draw in the playoffs. And my Flyers right now are the hottest team in the NHL. Don't look now.
Bring them on, baby.
They're easily in the playoffs right now. Of course, they're going to, with 4 games left, they're going to crash and burn. So I'm looking forward to being in the fetal position come Sunday night.
Parker, I don't know how to tell you this, but your questions are done.
No, I have a pressing one.
Lord.
He did a great job, George. Those are 2 great questions. The Holly Road question is a great question.
It was.
All things are equal come the fall. And this is April 7th. If all things are equal come the fall between George McIntyre and Faison Brandon, who wins the job?
Oh, the veteran's always going to win with these football coaches. Nobody wants to put a true freshman out there.
Yep.
No football coach. It doesn't matter. Faison Brandon could outplay him in the. He better outplay him by a lot. To me, it's like the old adage in boxing: you got to knock the champ out. The guy that has a little bit of experience, Kelly. Am I wrong with these coaches? They're always playing that guy.
No, I agree. But I also remember Coach Donnelly saying, I'm not going to lose with an upperclassman. I'll lose with a freshman, son.
Oh!
So he better
Coach
win.
Donnelly.
You know
That's next level right there.
That's what he used to tell us.
Okay, so you've brought A-game material today, but there's somebody out there in Middle Tennessee who has not heard you before.
Yeah.
How do they hear you?
If you're looking at me right now, you can tell by looking at me. I look like I was rode hard and put up wet. I went hard in the paint this basketball season. I'm feeling it. But you can find me at TonyBasilio.com or at tclub.team. And over on our YouTube channel, Tony Basilio, there are some Vandy fans, George, that like to come poke around. A couple of them I've had to, not block, but just kind of give 10-minute timeouts to. I use the penalty box in that thing, George. We do game misconducts. We do 10-minute, 2-minute, 5-minute.
I love it. Hey, we'll talk next week. You take care.
Hey, you all be blessed. Thanks, guys. It's great opportunity. Thank you. Bye.
Same here. Man, is there a lot to yap about when we come back on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
Nashville, get ready to make history. On April the 19th at Geodis Park, the Music City Rugby Shootout brings the first ever Major League Rugby match to Tennessee. It's a powerhouse showdown. The Chicago Hounds take on the three-time champions, the New England Free Jacks, in a clash you don't want to miss. Feel the intensity. Hear the hits. Experience the speed, the rivalry, and the electric atmosphere of professional rugby live in Music City. One match, history in the making. Be there April the 19th at Geodis Park. Get your tickets now at chicagohounds.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Some incredible info today from Tony Basilio, who clearly is not a fan of Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White. For that matter, count me in as well on that one. Double the payroll for Tennessee basketball. Dang.
It's a lot, man. And I'm going to ask Mark Griffin, and I asked last week, but I know that Rick Barnes has done everything there.
Hold on. I hate to let you in on a little secret.
What's that? No.
It was taped earlier.
Oh,
you can ask all you want, but if he answers,
don't reveal our secrets, George.
Well, yeah, but if he answers, then we got a scoop.
But does that put more pressure on him, George? Because now it seems like that's what the athletic departments are going to start, or not athletic departments, but people that are giving big sums of money to these organizations, these athletic departments. He's gotten them to the Elite Eight 3 years in a row. Well, now you got the elites that are giving money saying, well, we're going to give you everything you need to get us what Michigan got last year. We're going to give you everything we need. We're going to double the salary. We're going to double this with $16 million, and we're going to go out and get guys. How much pressure does that put on him? And then, does his legacy get tarnished because he can't, if he can't get them to the Final Four or to the national championship game? How does that work?
Well, first of all, it looks like he's embraced this.
No, there's no doubt.
Without him embracing it.
I'm thinking to myself, I was thinking when Tony was talking about it, and y'all were and Parker was talking about all those kids that have left. At some point, you got to just scratch your head and say, I'm done with this. But then, he just, like you said, he embraces it and say, hey, if you think you can get $2 million, you're not going to get that here from me. But if you think you can, I applaud you, man. Go on. And I think he's got the right attitude towards it.
I am excited, Kelly. I am excited for this upcoming basketball season because I wasn't, terribly upset to see Jalen Carey go. I wasn't upset at seeing some of these guys go. Now, JP Estrella, I will admit I was a little disappointed because I thought that he improved significantly. But at the same time, I know that, as Tony hit on, you got to spend big in this sport. And that's exactly what Michigan did. And that is kind of going to be the blueprint, right? All 5 of their starting, lineup were guys from the transfer portal. So I have confidence that Rick Barnes is going to be able to do that. Now, if they get to the Final Four, I will be shocked, because it just hasn't happened. But I am excited to see what Rick Barnes can do with all this money.
Ooh, man. And as for the Lady Vols, don't everybody go off the cliff on my little joke that they're not going to field a team next year. But you do wonder how much more of this Danny White can sustain. Not many ADs get fired over women's basketball issues. But Tennessee Lady Vols is one of the top 3 or 4 brands of all time.
No doubt. And that's why I keep asking that question. I know, and Tony's right. Like, I had to watch my daughter play basketball. It's it's like a fine wine sometimes. It's hard sometimes to go watch, but it's different at the University of Tennessee. And I agree with Holly Rowe, man. It's kind of sad from what that has become, because Pat Summitt had it on the elite status, on the, Mount Rushmore of college basketball. And now to see what's happened to it, and now to see all these girls saying, no, we're not staying here. And then you get this top recruit that comes in and the mom said, nah, we're good. We're not going there. It's just like everybody years ago wanted to be a Tennessee Lady Vol. Now it's not like that anymore. Crazy.
And we're talking about 5 stars, too. Number 2 overall player in the country, 5-star.
Correct.
Crazy times. Crazy times.
Okay, hour number 1 is in the books. Mark Griffin will join us. We taped it earlier, so Kelly's not asking anything. And Mark said, I don't want to talk to Kelly.
I don't blame
Which is, he probably did.
I don't blame him.
No.
Forget
Anyway,
you,
we
Parker.
taped it earlier for Mark's
punk.
convenience. I think you'll enjoy it. They'll get to trade insults off the air. This is the George Plaster Show.
This is the Commodore Report, brought to you by Gary Force Acura.
A new homestand begins and rolling to the Final Four. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. It's back at Hawkins Field for Vanderbilt baseball tonight, starting a 4-game homestand with a midweek matchup against Eastern Kentucky. Hopefully as fun as last Tuesday when freshman Connor Hamilton pitched a complete game for his first win. Radio coverage starts at 5:45 on The Fan with streaming on SEC Network Plus. Heading into the last 2 weeks of spring practice for Vanderbilt football, with the team back on the field this morning. Coming off Saturday's scrimmage, head coach Clark Lee said the team's not quite ready to play a game with things to clean up, but some positive takeaways as well.
I thought the story was self-imposed negatives offensively, so a lot of false starts, a lot of sloppiness that way. Defensively, it's just about finishes. I thought we had the quarterback in the pocket a few times and let him out, and a lot of times that led to explosives or drive extenders.
This is Team 6 under Coach Lee, who's won SEC Coach of the Year the last 2 seasons. The Black and Gold Spring Games coming up next Saturday, April 18th. College basketball season's come to a close with the national championship games over the last 2 days. If you missed it, Vandy's Shea Ralph made a clean sweep of the National Coach of the Year awards, and Michaela Blakes won the Ann Myers-Drysdale Award for the top shooting guard. It's a spot in the Final Four for Vanderbilt bowling in search of a 4th national championship in the final season under Coach John Williamson. The team will head to Ohio to compete on Friday and Saturday after advancing with a regional win over Maryville. And Vanderbilt men's golf closed strong to finish second at the Mason Rudolph Championship at the Legends Club. That is the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circus Sports Kentucky. From baseball to basketball, hockey to golf, Circus Sports has it all. Circus Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High limits, player-friendly pricing, and enhanced in-game options. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circus Sports has you covered. And don't forget to visit Kentucky's largest sports book, Circus Sportsbook, located at the Mint Kentucky Downs. Download the Circus Sports Kentucky app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 18 or older and located in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hold up. Is this the same building? Yeah. Green Ventures Landscaping redid the whole property. The entrance looks incredible. New landscaping, lighting, clean walkways. Clients notice it the second they pull in. That's the kind of first impression every business needs. Exactly. Green Ventures Landscaping made the place look like we upgraded the whole company.
From offices and retail to multi-property maintenance, Green Ventures Landscaping helps your business look its best before customers even walk through the door. Green Ventures Landscaping. Design, build, maintain.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobas. Plenty of sunshine today. High temps in the mid-60s, near normal for this time of the year. Overnight, one more cool one down to the upper 30s and low 40s, and then we'll make our way back into the mid-70s for your Wednesday.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
You enjoy the thrill of gambling, but what happens when it becomes a problem? Whether you want to cut back or quit gambling altogether, the Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling for over 2 decades. We're here to help, not to judge. The Gambling Clinic is a Tennessee-based clinic offering in-person and telehealth support to help people win back their life. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Brought to you by the Gambling Clinic, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Save up to 40% during the home upgrade event at Electronic Express. Transform your kitchen with smarter appliances that elevate your space, laundry that makes cleaning up simple and stress-free, and game days that feel truly immersive. Electronic Express has the latest technology, brands you trust, and experts ready to help. And shopping local has perks like 24 months free financing and free delivery. Visit any of our locations or shop electronicexpress.com and upgrade the way you live.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Clock hour here on the show from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. My buddy, former University of Tennessee basketball star Mark Griffin, joining us to talk last night's final. Mark, Michigan, impressive.
So impressive. It's hard to believe it was just a 6-point ending. And wasn't the spread 6.5? Not that I gamble, but I was amazed how close that was. Truly a great game. Dusty May, wow, what a coach. To be able to assemble the team that he did. I know we'll get into this, but the first thing I thought about afterwards is how many coaches now with this transfer portal that opened today, over 1,000 kids already in the transfer portal. And I went on Twitter just a minute ago and saw UT lost another player. It's amazing what coaches now are going to adapt to the Michigan plan, bringing in guys from top major programs outside of Lindenberg, which was, UAB is not a shabby program with Andy Kennedy, and putting these top players together from top programs and look at the return on investment. They're going to have so much more money to spend. Was it worth it for Michigan? Yes. I think it's still bad for the fans. But to get back to last night's performance, what a great game. What a great game.
Mark, here's what to me was kind of weird. The score indicates it was close. In my heart, I know that UConn emptied every barrel that was humanly at their disposal. And the truth of it is, it wasn't good enough. At no point in the second half did I honestly feel that Michigan was in any real trouble.
No, and what's amazing too, I studied the box score this morning, and you talk about championship type teams, what they're composed of, how it changes in the tournament. Said that most games were going to be lower scores. Well, Michigan averaged over 90 points a game the first 5 games or so. Free throw shooting steady. Michigan was 25 of 28 last night. Amazing. I talk, and I know you guys talk about the importance of having depth in a program during the entire season, and especially during the tournament. Well, Michigan played 3 guys off the bench. That's all. So they didn't have depth. Those guys logged a lot of minutes, guys, and were able to play through that, a grinding game and grinding tournament. So I guess you have to ask the question, do you really need to play 10 guys a game during the tournament, or do you stick to a limited rotation and just get each player's lots of minutes, lots of confidence? Well, last night will tell you You don't have to go to your bench very far and still be productive and not have the fatigue factor because of how well they shot from the free throw line.
So I guess there are a bunch of reasons for that. These 4-minute ridiculous timeouts that are way too long are certainly part of it. But Mark, maybe did this tournament solidify our belief that while Dan Hurley may be a bit of a psycho, this guy can flat out coach? They shouldn't have gotten to the final, in my opinion. They're not the second best team in the country, but they're maybe the second best coach team.
I agree. I give a lot of kudos to Coach Hurley. Of course, you know his basketball family from his legendary father and his brother and success he's had early in life. A really charismatic person, I think, that really stands up for his players. Yes, he's very outspoken, but he's not a me guy. I don't look at him, and I won't drop a lot of the coaches' names that I feel that way. But he really fights for his guys, his program. Goes to bat once again for each and every player. And you got to love that when you can be on the court knowing you look on the sidelines and he's battling the referees as much as he can without getting a technical, fighting for you. An excellent job. I can't even remember the stats of how many championship games he's been at since he's been a coach, but it's tremendous. And what he's been able to do to put together the lineup that he did. I mean, he pulled the Mullins kid out of Indiana that, people were saying he was going to go to IU. I know Tennessee was in his top 3 to land him and have, several 4-year players on the program says a lot. Was able to pick and choose as far as transfer portal once again. It wasn't a large amount of his roster, but was able to do a good job in the players that he selected to bring in. And I think this is something you're going to see for years on down the road for this program, that they're going to be right up there. And he's got a great recruiting pitch, guys, when he's going in these transfers homes or talking to them on the phone, high school kids, his success, it's definitely evident.
Mark, let's go back to Michigan for just a second. I can remember in early December, my buddy Tim Brando did a game of theirs where they blew out Maryland in College Park. And I remember he and I talked when it was over, and I was like, you may have just broadcast the national champions. In November and December, they were scary good.
Yeah.
Somewhere in January and February, either they got bored or the season's too long. Give me your theory about what was that little whatever for 6 weeks and what helped them find the right stuff again.
Well, you go back and look at, like, they honored the 76 Indiana team. Is that right, George? It was 76 last night, last undefeated team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever see that again. I really don't. Why? I think it's really hard to stay on that, have that momentum through an entire season. You're going to have lulls. You're going to have concerns behind the scenes that coaches have to really get involved with. With Michigan, I just feel that sometimes, with success comes complacency. Not saying that is the exact one thing that could happen, but you can become content. And I do think, I don't ever believe you lose on purpose, but I think you can definitely learn from a loss, and it kind of gets them back on the rails again to say, hey, we got to stick together for our number 1 overall goal, which is a championship. But if they did go off a little bit, the good news from Michigan, they were back on target really quickly, able to work out their differences, which were minor. What was really unique about the makeup of this team, guys, I really look back and try to think, when's the last time you had 3 dominant bigs on one program? Because with Lindeberg, with Morez Johnson, Mara. All three of those guys are going to be drafted. And I can't remember a team that had three bigs that dominant in probably 40 years. I mean, you go back to Phi Slamma Jamma, but with Houston, but I mean, maybe you guys can help me, but and be able to get the production out of Cadeau, and with McKinney being a freshman, the way he stepped up, because, they had, was it Kaysen? They had one of their key players that got hurt as well. And I thought that was going to be a huge factor. I even said, I don't know if Michigan can advance because I don't know if they have the depth at guard play. And boy, was I wrong.
Mark, let me go, I guess, to where I'm really going. Is the season too long? Are there too many games?
No, not at all. I don't think so. It's not the NBA. I mean, of course, there's no load management, thank God, in college. I think when you're having success, a season can never be long enough. But I will tell you, there are some seasons, boy, you wish it was shorter because you're ready for spring break. And don't think these teams that aren't winning and aren't playing in these newfound tournaments that are out there now aren't looking forward to going down south to Florida or somewhere. Ask them the question, they'll say, yeah, the season's too long. You ask these programs, these teams that are winning, they don't want to stop, guys. They want to play till the summer.
Mark, I'm laughing because I've told this story on the air. In the early 80s, as a 23-year-old color announcer, we'd lose the first game in the tournament, and then the next morning we'd be getting up to come home, and Kentucky'd be rolling. Hey, great to see you guys. No, we're not going to be here.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I was thinking
I
when
can
you
tell
said
you
that.
some stories too, George. I mean, my success at UT was it wasn't every year in the NCAA tournament. Only had one. There was a lot of pre-planning before you had a computer. Which way south we were going to go, and what destination, and how we could pull our money to get the cheapest hotel we could. We were already planning that before the season was over.
What beach to jump in on? Okay, Parker, three things for Mark.
So I look at the way Michigan was constructed last year with Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf, who's basically a point center. So my thought is that Dusty May just likes having big, long, athletic players on his team. But in terms of what he's able to do, Michigan's the first team ever, and this probably won't be the last one, to win a national championship with all five guys coming from the transfer portal. There are going to be teams that try to copy that blueprint. However, how important do you still think high school recruiting can be in college basketball?
It really shifts it. It's funny. I've talked about this in the past. Each year, guys, I will go watch either Adidas or I'll go watch Nike. This year, I'm going to go watch Pro One. But you're watching these top programs or shoe circuit programs to watch the elite kids. And just for me, I just love to watch competitive basketball. And over the last couple of years, I didn't see the influx of coaches really around star players like I have in the past. Not saying they're not there, not working that, but I can definitely tell you that it's not worked like it was before. It's not as big as an emphasis, and you can see why. I mean, we don't even have to debate this. You take a kid that comes out of Obion County in West Tennessee like I did and play against, like for me, I was 6'7". You may play a guy 6'5". You may play a guy that's going to go to mid-major school if you're lucky one time through the year or a couple of times. Or you let a kid go ahead and go to a school like Belmont and has a record. You're able to get game film and see how they develop, and let Coach Alexander at the time develop them. And then you go, hey, I'll throw some more money at you. Come over here and play for us. And you're seeing that across the country now. It's like wait and see approach. And I hate that for a lot of the high school players. I was able to witness that even when I coached. It was like, hey, we're looking transfer first. We're just gonna fill the gaps later. Offers were held longer for high school kids. It's once again, this landscape has changed, and we're just going to have to jump on board because I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. And you see the Michigan project, we can call it, worked. Who all will use this blueprint, as you mentioned, Parker? It'll be interesting. I just hate it for some of the high school kids that are really wanting to play at that high level. They're not getting that opportunity now, but they are having to choose to go play more at a mid-major or even a D2 school, which is fine. They're able to play basketball, but they're having to prove themselves at a lower level and then transfer. And I just hate it because you don't see four-year players anymore. I mean, Michigan had one guy, and I love the guy. Shatter, I think his name is, probably averaged 3 points a game.
He's
Four-year
that guy coming off the bench.
He stuck with it. Maybe didn't have anywhere to go. He could have gone D2, mid-major, scored more points, but he stuck with it. And I was really proud for him. And I don't know how much they talked about him last night. I was half awake at 11 o'clock. But I was really happy for him, just as much as I was for their starting five.
Those Alex Caravans are rare. We're not going to get many more, if any at all. So for Tennessee, a lot of the guys enter in the portal. I think there's one returner, Dwayne Brown. You have Tyler Lundblade coming in from Belmont. My theory is whether it's Danny White or whoever, they're giving Rick Barnes more resources than he's ever had at Tennessee. And he's going to go out and he's going to try to knock down the door to get to that first Final Four. So that's why I think we're seeing a lot of these guys enter the portal that we may have not thought originally they would. What's your theory?
Well, I think that with Barnes and the support group, they're telling people like Amari Evans, which is the one I was referring to. I was thinking like, who's going to come back? I thought I would look that up before I came on the air. And I'm like, okay, we got Evans. And then I look, breaking news, Evans is gone in the last hour. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is never ending. I think what my understanding is they set a rate. Say, look, we're going to pay you X. You want to come play for me? I'm going to pay you X. I know they did this for Adu that went to Arkansas because he was asking for a lot more money.
Yeah.
Tennessee said, hey, we'll increase you to this number. That's it. Adu said, and his crew said, no, we're passing, moved on. I think that there's a lot of analytical people behind this, financial people that are looking at a so-called budget of what they want to spend overall, and they tier it as far as how much they want to spend per position or per person and work from there. And if you are going above and beyond that, there you go. Let the orange door shut behind you. And I just hate it. I especially hate it for Estrella. I mean, he's been here 3 years. You're going to go play
Boswell
one year. I think he may have 2 years left, but the Knoxville community has embraced him through his injuries. It seems, he's a great guy. And then he's going to go play somewhere 1 year, maybe two. Then where are you going to go for your reunion? You're not coming back to Knoxville. I mean, you could. People would still welcome you. But it's not like he's going to get cheered during a timeout and go, hey, welcome back, JP Estrella. He's left us after his third year, but welcome back. It's not going to happen.
Same conversation I believe they had with Jalen Carey. And this is the part that really bugs me about college basketball. To be honest, I'm not really sad to see Jalen Carey go. It got under my skin, the fact that he transferred from Vanderbilt to Tennessee. You just don't do it. It's a rival. He's going to be on his fourth school in 4 years. There's no continuity there. Do you think that was the same conversation they had with Jalen Carey?
Yes. And I think too, some people just don't buy in to what the coaching staff and, support staff are selling. They're not going to talk about that when they're not playing or when things don't go well during practice. It's just like, hey, I'll say all the right things till the season's over. See you later. And I'm coached not to say anything because it lowers my availability on the market. And they're getting coached by a lot of people to keep their mouth quiet and be good boy. With Carey, do I hate that he's going? I wish all these guys the best fit. But when you're a four-year transfer, or you transfer every year, it's not talked about. How many of those hours are transferring? We talk about hours transferring. We talk about players transferring. How about their hours? I guarantee you not 100% of their hours are transferring. They don't even care.
Funny enough, John Calipari's brought that up.
Wow, one good thing he brought up. So that's good. But I just hate it because at the end of the day, yeah, you may go somewhere. Let's say Armari Evans makes $500,000 more over the next 2 seasons. He stays at Tennessee, gets his degree. If he doesn't play a lick of pro basketball and he's got a good brain on him, he could be a lifelong Tennessean and get him a great job and a great opportunity. And that's all these guys and ladies need, is an opportunity. And they'd have a bigger opportunity if you would look long term. Now, some people are exceptions where they may have financial need immediately. Maybe the lights aren't paid for. Granny's dying in hospice. I mean, there's certain things I do get, but you're going to pretty much well be taken care of while you're in school. The biggest takeaway I got, people like, well, don't you wish you had NIL money? I'm like, you know what? I graduated UT. I didn't have any debt. How many of my friends could say that? That's a gift. And I was honored to be in that situation. So, no, I don't complain about what was. I do complain about guys that leave and are four-year transfer after 4 years because you're losing credits. And then the job market, where are you going to go? Opportunities will still be there, but there'll be fewer.
Mark, as we end this, we end another basketball season where you have been such a friend to this show and to me in particular. I want you to know how much I appreciate it. Hope we can continue this because you're terrific.
Oh, you know what? You guys bring it out of me. I have one opinion. I'm one guy, N of one. I love doing this. It's my passion. I just appreciate the game of basketball and the fans that are out there listening to the show and hopefully learn something. George, you always taught me, try to teach something that maybe someone doesn't know. And that sounds easy, but it's not, because you have a lot of very smart listeners. And I just try to pay it forward and give a former player's perspective, especially about opportunity, because we sometimes hold these student athletes up higher than they should be, because when you get them alone, just average people, they're just great athletes, just trying to make a difference in life, trying to better themselves and maybe their family. And aren't we all the same in that aspect? Just different areas of life that we may work in. And I know how much basketball has meant to me and opened up a lot of doors. I just want to continue to see these young men make smart decisions and have great nights like we were able to watch last night, a nice little escape from reality.
Hey, thank you as always. Talk soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Parker.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
Live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
So, are we not doing stat of the day?
Thank you for reminding me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to our stat of the day.
Let's do it.
Brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. Who was the goalie for the Nashville Predators during their 2017 run to the Stanley Cup Final? George, you're not allowed to answer.
No, please.
Yes, George is allowed to answer too. I can't remember the guy's name either because I know who it is, but I forget.
Give him a hint, George.
Pekka.
Yes, Pecorine.
It's not a hint. You said half of his name.
Well, but he had to get the other half, and he clearly did that. We got another softball today.
We did, yes.
There are probably people out there. This is a good segue to where I'm going here. So I have stayed up till 1 a.m. Thursday night, Friday evening, midnight on Saturday night in San Jose when they played the Sharks, and then last night, I don't know, 11:30, 11:45 against the LA Kings. The Preds are showing me something right now. It's the most encouraged I have been about this franchise in a while. Because first of all, let's look at the schedule of the two teams battling the most. That's the Predators and the LA Kings. The LA Kings might as well be playing Hillwood. It's a cupcake. Vancouver's the worst team in the league. Calgary's right there with them. Seattle's slumping, and Edmonton doesn't have Leon Draisaitl. So the Kings have had a pretty cush ending to this, and I don't pretend to know quite how it ended up this way. But the Predators' road to all this is brutal. They get to the 8th and final playoff spot, it will be because they have earned it. Think about this. Thursday night, they go to the LA Kings, win in a shootout. Saturday night, they go to San Jose and just flat out win in regulation. Last night, they lose in overtime at the LA Kings again, but get a point. And what do they get for that? They got to play Anaheim tonight. Then they got to play at Utah. And then they've got 3 really tough games at home. Minnesota, San Jose, Anaheim. I don't know what's going on internally, but Andrew Burnett has pushed some button here that has got them playing hard from minute one. And Kelly, I'm really proud of what they've done the last 3 games, all on the road, hostile places. They're battling their butts off.
I think you would have probably taken this how they began the year, would you not, George?
Oh my goodness, yes.
And what are the people, what are the people in your section? What are the people around Nashville saying about this Predators team? I mean, is there still some pressure on the head coach? We know all the Barry Trotz situation and all that stuff, but is there still some pressure on him? And I'm with you. What buttons has he pushed? Is it because these younger guys have done what they did a couple of years ago when these guys are trying to make a name for themselves and they're trying to get this team in the playoffs? What's happened?
Well, first of all, I think they've infused some life into this thing. They've infused some speed. Which is badly needed. They are one of the slowest teams in hockey. And when they would get into the position last Saturday night in San Jose where they had to go 4-on-4, it really exposed how slow they are. So they fight that virtually every night. What really, to me, the other thing that's going on, Steven Stamkos and Philip Forsberg have gone crazy. They're both going to end up with over 40 goals for the year. And given the slow start that Stamkos had in October and November, it's unreal what he's done. And I think he has picked this franchise up by the bootstraps and said, follow me to the promised land. Now, I don't know if they're going to get in. The odds are not great that they are, because you can look, the Kings have got a complete and total cupcake, and the Predators have got a really hard schedule. And it's been this way. Now, they've been on the road since Christmas. When was the last time they were home? I mean, they've been gone forever.
That's true.
Yeah. And so, all I'm saying, Kelly, is I like what I'm seeing right now. I'm very willing to say when I don't like what I'm seeing. And at the same time, to be fair, I need to say when I see what I like, hey, I like it.
George, let me ask you another question. When we used to have Guy on here all the time, and a couple of years ago, last year, Andrew Burnett brought this deal in here, and Barry Trotz brought him in here where his system. We always talked about his system, and Guy would talk about his system, but it's kind of revolves around guys that can skate and guys that are fast, and you're telling me that they're really slow and they're one of the slowest teams in the league. How has that happened? If you've got a coach that wants speed, but yet we don't have any speed, how is that coexisting together? You know what I'm saying?
I don't pretend to totally know. I know, for instance, the trade of Kiefer Sherwood didn't make a lot of sense. Here's a guy that had some speed and they got rid of him. All of this said, when the season ends, they're going to hire a new GM, and the GM's got to come in and he's got to make a tough decision, because on one hand, he's sitting there saying, well, he's not my guy. I want my guy. Or he turns around and says, I got to be fair. I can't judge what I haven't seen. By the way, Tom Fitzgerald is now available. And I wonder what that does or doesn't do. Tom Fitzgerald and I did a radio show together when he played here. Out as of yesterday in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I wonder what that shakes up.
Didn't Florida fire somebody as well within their organization? Or am I making that up?
I can't say I'm sure about it.
Okay.
So let me go back where I started the show today a little bit, because clearly there's some things about FanDuel that royally piss me off. The Predators,
Kelly.
Royally. So the Predators have announced a new television partnership with Scripps Sports. And what this is going to mean is this. They are the owner of News Channel 5 in Nashville, which none of you can see because Comcast is in yet another pissing contest with somebody and have blacked them out. Thanks, Comcast. Scripps will transform something called WNPX Channel 28 into the spot Nashville 28 this summer. This station will become the home of the Predators, delivering every non-national Preds game over the air. Now, I'm making some fun here because I didn't know there was a Channel 28. This is kind of a new one for me, but I have a lot of confidence in Sean Henry that whatever it is that he has decided is best for TV in the future, that it's going to be good. I've got confidence in Sean. Do I have confidence in FanDuel? Heck no. Even less in Comcast. But I'm hopeful the Braves deal, now that they've gotten away from FanDuel, I think is an improved product. I really do.
I've heard they've been getting good reviews.
Yeah, they appear to have more cameras. It became very obvious last season that FanDuel cut the number of cameras going, and it just wasn't all that good.
Parker, with the all-out war that George had on Comcast last year, I'm surprised they didn't put a hit out on him.
I guess I am too.
It was every day he had something to say about old Comcast.
I love it when
he was writing them. He was writing them letters, and he was doing all kind of stuff.
You wrote letters?
No, heck.
He was calling them.
Well,
he was calling them.
They don't know how to read.
Yeah, their literacy sucks too, I guess.
I mean, what is the Channel 5 deal right now?
I didn't even know it was a thing.
You've really bummed me out with the Channel 5 deal, though, because I'm a huge golf guy and I'm a huge Masters guy, and I guess I'm going to have to go stream it somewhere else. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure that out.
There are options out there, Kelly.
Well, let me say this.
Options.
There's some people that probably haven't thought about it yet who are sports fans. You would have thought about it last night if CBS had the national title and our friends at Comcast didn't show it. And now, this weekend with the Masters, those of you who love that golf tournament, you're being told by Comcast, screw you.
Frank's correct. The Tampa Bay Lightning did the same thing with their TV broadcast prior to this season. The Lightning are on a Scripps-owned station in Tampa.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Okay, so that's our little Preds update. I'll be staying up fairly late tonight. Kelly, do not call me.
I don't think he was planning on it.
I'm not ever going to call you at nighttime, George. We always have our conversations in the morning also.
We do indeed. Okay, let's go to the break, and then we'll do one segment of wherever you all want to go, which is phone call driven, which is red-blooded Americans who have good stuff to talk about in sports. Phone number, 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. We will take your phone calls next, and then at the end of the hour, we'll review my latest victory.
We don't have to do that.
This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
Nashville, get ready to make history. On April the 19th at Geodis Park, the Music City Rugby Shootout brings the first ever Major League Rugby match to Tennessee. It's a powerhouse showdown. The Chicago Hounds take on the three-time champions, the New England Free Jacks, in a clash you don't want to miss. Feel the intensity. Hear the hits. Experience the speed, the rivalry, and the electric atmosphere of professional rugby live in Music City. One match, history in the making. Be there April the 19th at Geodis Park. Get your tickets now at chicagohounds.com.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. In Green Hills Mall.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back on this Tuesday afternoon. Still got room for a couple more calls at 615-759-9949. Let's start in Nolensville. Tony, what's shaking today?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Great show as always.
Thank you.
George, I'll be honest with you. Last week, I really thought about the Channel 5 issue because not only do I watch the sports and what's coming up with the Masters all, but I also watch Survivor and some of those other shows. And when I've been watching them for many years, that reality TV stuff, when you start watching them and you don't get to see them, you start thinking about all the other programs you're going to start missing that CBS would be carrying. And
Tony, what is the? Because I really don't know, what is the dispute about?
George, I've read the flash that they have up there, but it's all that Comcast says is they have offered a generous revenue to Scripps, and they have made numerous attempts to satisfy this, and to whatever reason, Scripps refuses to accept their offer. They have not ever really seen what in detail it is about, but that's what Comcast says in their message that they place on the screen, is that they have made numerous attempts with generous offers and anything to keep the cost down to its customers. So what's behind all that, I do not know.
It would be nice, if you want to believe, show me some figures.
Show me some figures.
Show me the money.
More. Right. And just to keep you in the dark, I happen to be watching, I think it was Stephen Colbert or somebody. I forgot who I was watching the other night or last week, when all of a sudden at 11 p.m. Central Time, poof, there it went. And so that was on April, when it turned midnight Eastern Time, on April 1, that's when the lights were cut out. So that's when that did happen. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
yeah.
Guys, I was going to talk to you also about y'all talked a lot about the portals, and boy, Mark Griffin, I love hearing him. He gives a great insight, and he talks a lot of terms that you understand, like many of your guests do, George. But, Kelly, with the transfer portal, and Parker, you chime in on this, what Michigan did was pretty precedented last night with 5 transfers, winning a natty. You can get all that talent to come to you, but as a coach, you still have to get that talent to gel together. You've got to get these guys to buy in with each other and buy into the system. And you as a coach, you still have to coach them up. And you could have all the talent in the world. One team that comes to my mind several years ago, Jerry Green at UT, had all the talent in the world 1 or 2 particular years, and he couldn't do nothing with it. In basketball, I'm speaking. And we've seen it in other sports. So when you see that, you've still got to coach these guys up, and you've still got to get them to believe in you and buy into each other and believe in each other. So that's a part of this transfer stuff that we've got, that you do enjoy seeing when they do that. Do any of us really like this stuff? No. The other night, George, I was watching Duke play baseball. They were playing somebody. It was a replay of a ACC game. A batter come up. This is at Duke, and he's on his 5th year in 5 years, 5th school in 5 years, playing baseball at Duke. 2 of those years, he went from 1 year of a junior college to another junior college. Junior college is only a 2-year deal, and he couldn't even stay at one school for 2 years. So when you see that, it's just pretty sickening. There's no loyalty no more. It was always fun to see these players come to a university, and you see them come in raw as a freshman, and we get close to them as a fan, and you see them as a senior materialize into a great athlete. And you can always say, boy, it's good to see them come back. And it's going to be a great reunion someday when they come back. And you're not going to see that no more. That's going by the wayside. Mark Griffin touched on that, and he's right. You're not going to see all these guys coming back no more. And it's just sad. That's where we're at in our sports world. We've talked about it a lot, but that's exactly where we're at. So that's my take on it. And sadly to say about last night's game, guys, this is the Big Ten this year won both men and women and college football. Right now, they seem to be, as the SEC says, it just means more. Well, right now, the Big Ten saying it means the most to us. And so we've got to do something about that. So,
you're watching the Big Ten Network, where it means the most.
Yeah, that's true. See you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so, Kelly, how do you think a coach goes in when he's got 5 new guys?
I don't know.
Because it's not like Michigan peaked in late February. I mean, they came out of the gates. Remember, they beat Gonzaga by 40.
Beat San Diego State by 40. Beat everybody.
Yeah, George, that's where these new aid coaches like a Dusty May, who you're seeing on the YouTube deal, these coaches are the ones that have to do this quickly. He had 5 new transfers this year. He got them all to play together, got them all to play as one, and they were really good. Like, every time I start thinking about this, though, George, you remember back in the day, I forget who was the owner for the Washington Redskins back in the day when they were called the Redskins? Was it Bruce Snyder?
Jack. Well, Dan Snyder, and before
Dan
that,
Snyder, not Bruce.
Cook.
Yeah, but it was Dan Snyder. And you remember when Dan Snyder took over, he brought in Bruce Smith. He brought in Deion Sanders. He's brought all these big name guys in to the organization, thinking that was going to get him a Super Bowl really fast, really quick. And he found out that just because these guys were once something and they're some of the greatest athletes ever to play the game, if you don't gel them as a team really quick, it's not going to matter who you bring on your team if you can't get them to work together. And I think that's what's going to be in the years to come. It's going to be the Dusty Mays of the world, or is he going to be able to, or the Michael Malones of the world, are they going to be able to piece these guys together really quick where they can become something in a year, and then let's see if we can do it, and then maybe we can keep some of these guys for next year. But that's where the question that everybody wants to know right now in our business, doing these podcasts, doing all this stuff, can these coaches get all these new kids to buy in what he wants to do for a year? And if he can, they got a good shot at it.
Mike Malone's going to be expected to do that right away at North Carolina as well. I think with Dusty May, I mean, Yaxel Lindenberg was really good at UAB, but Ade Mara didn't start at UCLA. Morez Johnson didn't start at Illinois. Elliot Cadeau, I was told, had a lot of turnover issues at North Carolina, couldn't shoot the three well. He didn't have turnover problems last night. He didn't have turnover problems in the Final Four. And all these guys are playing well, maybe the greatest team, certainly the greatest team I've seen in my lifetime. So it's a product of coaching.
Under stat of the day, Chip Walters tells us Middle was 2-1 versus Lindenborg in his college career.
How about that?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. UAB, baby. There you go.
Frank in Smyrna, what do you got for us today?
Okay, first of all, can I get a welcome back to Tennessee, because I'm in Smyrna. I really am.
Do you need us to play like Welcome Back Cotter?
You just give me the braised tomahawk chop music. That'll be fine.
What's up?
Well, the Predators, first of all, you know, I think I'm getting to be too old at age 54 to be having that kind of anxiety at 12:30 in the morning watching overtime and shootouts. That was insane, last night. Kelly, you should try that sometime. Sit up, watch late night with the Nashville Predators. You'd love it.
Yeah, Kelly. Get your coffee pot going at 9 o'clock at night.
I'm trying to get my beauty sleep, Frank. Sorry. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't work, Kelly.
Oh, here you go, Parker. We don't need your mouth.
You know, Kelly, I used to say the same thing, but it hadn't worked on me, so I wish you all the best with that. But, no, the Preds last night, you know, they got a point. They needed two. They got one. Same thing tonight. They have to get at least one. At least one. I really want two. In fact, I just assume they win the last 5 games of regulation. That'd be great. But I'm like you, George. I see something in this team. Whatever Andrew Brunett's buying, whatever Andrew Brunett's selling, they're clearly buying it. Stamkos, Forsberg. I don't know what's going on down there. You know more than I do. But something's going on, because they look like a different team to me over the last few weeks. And I don't know. I'm like you. Do they get in? I don't know. The schedule's hard. It's going to be tough. It's 50-50 at best. But it's just nice to play meaningful games in April again. And as far as the TV deal, George, I about came out of the chair in my office here. That is the same deal that the Tampa Bay Lightning have with the Scripps owned station in Tampa, which is the ABC affiliate there. I can't think of the call letters. Doesn't matter. They're on a substation. It's called The Spot down there. I think it's channel 66. But what's interesting, in Sarasota, where I live part-time, I don't have that station on Comcast Xfinity. I can't see the Lightning there unless the good thing here in Nashville, if Comcast don't want to carry them, there's always rabbit ears. And Kelly, while I'm thinking about it, rabbit ears for Sunday versus in the Masters. If Comcast don't want to get their crap together,
No.
rabbit ears. you could. That's the one saving grace. I have DirecTV and have for years, and there's been several times Channel 2 has been removed temporarily for a few months here and there. Well, as bad as it made me, so what? Thankfully, living close enough to Nashville, I could just get the rabbit ears out and see Channel 2. So,
well, here's one thing I will ask. Okay, how many times can Comcast cry wolf? It's the other guy that doesn't accept our generous offer. Maybe the offer ain't all that generous.
It may not be. DirecTV said the same thing when they got into the carriage dispute with Channel 2 here in Nashville. And, and interesting, the Comcast out in Florida saying the same thing about, because they removed the Scripps station from their lineup in Tampa from their lineup. I think probably at the same time Channel 5 went out here. I think it's a nationwide thing.
See, I wish somebody would really give us some numbers so that we could know. The fact that Comcast puts up generous, I've got half a brain. I'm not just taking that at face value. How many pissing contests are they going to get in before you start to say, well, now maybe they're the problem?
Exactly. And I personally think Comcast is the problem. But I thought DirecTV was the problem when they had the carriage dispute with Channel 2. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong. And that's exactly what it is, opinion contest. And eventually both sides will get in and give in. Okay, we're sorry. And let's get agreement done kind of thing. But it's just frustrating us, the consumers, and that we have to resort to get rabbit ears out, like going back to 1983, and get the rabbit ears out. And
well, the one thing you can rest assured of, the concern about the consumer, very small. And on that, I got to run.
Sure. I understand, George. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kelly, it's time to review yet another victory.
You're getting awful cocky, ain't you, George?
Well, a little bit. I mean, look at that record. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, man. Wow. You were rolling, George.
In fuego.
In fuego.
Parker, you seem to be awfully quiet.
I am a little bit quiet.
Is that because this success is bothering you?
Maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So
am I rooting against you tonight? Maybe.
Okay.
Hey.
Let's
Parker.
I mean, people want to know. They know I'm red hot. They also know it's not going to last. I'm taking the Celtics at home against a really improving Charlotte Hornets. Two teams that have really made some strides in the last couple of months. If you haven't paid attention, the Atlanta Hawks, who lost last night at home in a bitter loss to the Knicks, and the other is the Charlotte Hornets. The last time anybody talked about them was like the Gerald Ford administration. It's been a while. They're pretty good.
Parker, do you know Gerald Ford was one of our presidents? Do you know that?
Come on, Kelly. Come on.
Don't come on me.
I did know that.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. I was going to tell you to Google it. That's all y'all know how to do. That's all your generation knows to do.
We once had a president named Millard?
Yes.
President Fillmore.
Fillmore. That's correct.
Okay. So tomorrow on the show, Mike Organ will join us. I'm sure we'll get his views on Comcast. I think mine are pretty well out there. And who knows what else we'll do tomorrow? I'm not sure yet.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, you will. Kelly, until then, try to behave. And this is for Frank. Go ahead and play it. Louder.
To that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around.
It is. See you tomorrow.
Names have remained and they've turned around.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobe. Has plenty of sunshine today. High temps in the mid